it glitches out sometimes where you res with nothing. But I think they fixed that bug, so one mana pot should fix any problems. I mean, Elementalist was going out of mana in 2 minutes, flat, without any pots, and it's just like, wow, that's like one cooldown. That's not even going to get you. That's going to get you 3/4 of the way through a Tuziel now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was a big concern about a month ago or so, because clerics are in the same situation where you're looking at like 2.5, 3 minutes if you're lucky. AoE parses, you're looking at less than 2 minutes, and the fact that there is no counterpart for warriors and rogues. Like, yes, if they go energy starved, then they're missing GCDs and things like that on their abilities, or they might skip over an ability. But there was no, for clerics anyway, and even mages, right? Like, mages don't have a return mana on hit other than Archon, if I am presenting that accurately. So, yeah. Like, in your DPS spec, you're not, if you go to regenerate mana, you're losing GCDs, like 100% of the GCD you're out on, and a lot of the cleric ones are channeled mana abilities, and so people were really curious how you're going to deal with that DPS loss, because it's as bad as a disconnect, right, for a melee class. So hopefully they fix that, but with the pots it should be better, and they did fix it. I mean, there's a lot of things in, Zinbig did a smart thing, and obviously just, some of the higher up DPS talents also reduce the mana cost of an ability or something. It's a little bit of a patch, but it works out.
Yeah, like when I first got Friends and Family beta with Bubbles, and we dinged to 60, we're kind of just sitting in Tempest Bay looking at all our new abilities, ooh, shinies. And, I'm looking at one of the Harbinger abilities, and I said, I think I can run out of mana faster than you, Bubbles. And he said, nope, challenge accepted. And he started spamming Crucial Invocation, which takes like 2.5k mana, 2k a cast. And he went in like a couple seconds, where I'm sitting there, I'm like, never mind, sorry. You have huge mana issues.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Like, I know it's a single target heal, but spells like that shouldn't take that much mana. I mean, you're capping us at 17k, and it's going to take out 2,000 of that for one heal, and it's not even AoE. And it has no cooldown.
Yeah, they made that mistake where they tried to, I mean, they're trying to fix serendipity, right? So that we're not RNG dependent on cast time, so that if we want a faster cast time, we can choose it. But the problem is the cost of going to the faster cast time is almost never worth it, because sure, I can go to Crucial Invocation I want, or I can go to Scorching or something like that, but I'm going to sort of irreparably damage my ability to heal in the 20 seconds following that, in such a way that the tank's probably going to die anyway. So it is sort of interesting to see how those pan out. And I mean, this is feedback we have given them over time, looking at heals as a function of mana, and like what the opportunity cost for doing certain heals happens to be, and what we think needs to be fixed. And it remains to be seen if those are adjusted, because as it stands right now, I mean, single target healing, only the amount healed has been buffed and the costs have not been reduced. So we'll see how that works out come live.
Yeah. But I bet you gain it faster than we do.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's what you gotta love. I mean, you're out of energy and you're still doing 9k DPS. Like, when I run out of mana, it is 0 DPS.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And Chloro hasn't changed at all from what I hear Braun talking about, right?
Chloro, they changed a few things with corrosive spores. They reintroduced corrosion, quote unquote, which they removed from the game when the open beta weekend first went out. No one saw that spell. And I mean, I'm sure you're going to see it tomorrow. It's basically corrosion on a target, and it was extremely overpowered. It was healing tanks for 1,000 a tick on its dot form, and its initial hit was healing for over 10,000 on a crit. And I mean, that is just unbelievable. It's instant, but that got nerfed a little bit. The instant healing is still there, so it is your burst heal. It removed the travel time for Nature's Touch. So I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, you can gauge the situation where you have an ability like Torrent from Mailforge, where you can time it easily and you can throw it a Nature's Touch to get your big heal out. Or you could, unexpectedly the tank gets cleaved for some unmitigatable amount, and you just hit it with the corrosive spores and it heals the tank for a shit ton. as far as healing goes versus tank healing versus raid healing, kind of even, really. I mean, they got Chloro's dead on. I mean, Kervik's doing his job very well.
I told you
The
I
one-
went to switch my main, like, when Harbinger got, and you're like, nope, we got too many mages, nope.
Nope, too many
I'm
mages, bro.
I'm so fucking jealous, like, I want that class balance. I hate this roller coaster of nerf, buff, nerf.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Kervik just looks at it. I mean, we're kind of in the dog days for PvP. We've never really been, oh my god, nerf this. I mean, once that comes out for a mage, and then someone says nerf this and starts, screenshotting Arctic Blast, hitting them for 6k in PvP, it's nerfed within a day. Whereas Warriors, it can last a while. I mean, I remember the first time I stepped into PvP, I was getting hit with like, what was that? Cone AoE? I don't even know what the ability is. From across the map for fucking like half my health. Yeah, like I was just getting ripped from like one warrior across the map. Path of the Hurricane. I'm dead. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for introducing me to PvP, you bitch.
They did that to discharge from VK, which was hitting people for like 9k, which is out of this world, and some other shit. And I don't think they touched Void Storm. Void Storm hits AoE for as much as discharge almost. So I wonder if they even touched that. But that's another thing they should have touched on, because VK does so much DPS, like ridiculous, and it just eats all your like spells. I mean, it's a Void Knight. It'll destroy mages and clerics in PvP.
Yeah, like I'll be interested to see what Harbinger does. I mean, I didn't do the PvP weekend because I'm not really a PvPer, but if Harbinger actually decides that it's going to be good and Kervik allows it to be, I'll be probably all over PvP on my off hours. I mean, it's a fun spec. It's got CC. It's got. It's probably going to piss off Vindicit. It's got stealths that rogues have. They thought they were the only ones, but nope, we have it too.
What doesn't piss off Vindicit? He gets pissed like when he wakes up and it's like there's one cloud in the sky.
God damn it! There's a cloud in the sky.
Fucking
But-
nature.
With stun after stun and then interrupt. I mean, I could see Harbingers getting very annoying for healers. If we just immediately target them in the back, we're gonna get, very hated in these in arenas and stuff, or not arenas. Wow, what am I talking about?
Arenas?
Battlegrounds.
Holy shit! Wow. You had to bring it up. All right, so let's move it along. Let's talk about the 10-man now. I know, Foon, you've done it, Boar, right, with Trinity or Pugger?
Yeah.
And Foon and I were in it. Yes, I lied on episode 2. Fucking sue me. Fuck you. I'm gonna talk about it because I thought it was pretty fun. And even though we were wearing raid gear that's given out freely when you get to level 60, I thought it was a decent 10-man. It's definitely one that's got me more excited for a 10-man than anything since Rise of the Phoenix. And I mean, at the time, I guess for the guilds that hit Rise of the Phoenix, it wasn't that much of a challenge where you're high end because of the gear. But I was in a guild with not that much good gear, and it was pretty challenging, especially the third boss. So why don't you go down the bosses, Foon, and pretty much tell us what their mechanics were, and I guess we'll discuss after that.
Oh shit! You're gonna make me use memory.
Yeah. Those things in your brain that use fucking proteins.
Man. The first boss, I can't remember his name, was pretty interesting. I mean, we went in there with no privy information from other guilds other than SO saying when they first walked in that they couldn't beat it. They had to break it with broken warrior DPS. At the time, they didn't have the gear that we were given when we walked in. So, I mean, that's acceptable, and it was probably at an untuned stage. So that was basically all the information that we had, that they couldn't beat the enraged timer without broken warriors. Oh, really?
Yeah, there's an ability in there that would just hit people for 35k randomly.
Oh, wow,
So
awesome.
broken is an understatement.
I mean, if Warriors were doing that high DPS, I would take a whole raid of Warriors too. Shit.
Yeah, Warriors were really, really broken. I mean, I was in a dummy foundry next to Shirogi, and he was sitting there, saying LOL 20k, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, cool.
Your boner's like
Like,
slowly going away.
I'm like, what can I post against you? There's nothing I can do. I mean, you're just going to destroy my DPS anyway. I mean, even if you have a disconnect, you're still going to beat me.
Just make it up. Like, just type it in, I guess.
So,
Yeah, so, yeah, from what I remember, the first boss, there was a mechanic where it was predictable, the one where he throws the AoEs and he does the red bubble, tells you the outline of the AoE, and it grows from where he shoots it at, the origin point, and it expands. And it does a good amount of damage if you stand in it like an idiot. And you pretty much gotta kite the boss around, to get to safe areas. He's got an ad you gotta kill when the off tank, I guess, gets too many stacks, or I mean the off tank would just die, and he repeatedly revives that. And basically the other ability was that he would throw out an AoE at someone, and you literally had like 2 seconds to react to it, and it divides the damage based on how many people soak up the damage. So that's all. I think that was pretty much it. If you guys have anything that I forgot.
no. I think there was one kind of RNG thing. When we killed it, I died from the ad blowing up and another AoE ability. It was irrefutably, I could not dodge it. The ad blew up, hit me for like 14k, which is, 60%, 70% of my health. And then some other AoE hit me, and I was dead.
So
that was our only death.
The ad blew up. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, when you kill the ad, it blows up. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I mean, we were kind of just going in there and killing stuff. We didn't really take too many notes. I wasn't paying attention. I was just in there for the glory factor. Like, it was just something new. I was bored. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I went in there like I had been busy with work because of the stupid fucking Superstorm Sandy, and I literally did like 2 minutes of parsing. I just did a spec real quick, copied my new character over, and I did not know what the fuck I was doing. I was just trying to do my live rotation.
You got your ass handed to you.
Yeah, like Foos and Friends and Family, right?
He started like when we went to the 10-man.
Yeah, he was using the Riftblade spec from live, the 1 point icy burst one. I did not even think to do that. I didn't have time to copy macros over anyway, so I just hit buttons randomly, and we still beat it. But given that was with the raid gear, so that we had a huge advantage there. I think all these bosses with the gear you're supposed to walk in there with are gonna be pretty challenging. At least until you get decent gear. I think the players will be better than the content, but the gear is always a limiting factor that early in progression. And then the second boss.
Just before we say the second boss, I'm not going to give too much away. I don't want to completely spoil everything, but have fun playing Hot Potato.
Oh, yeah.
Now moving on to the second boss. I think that was completely broken and kind of untested. And if not, no, Cyril, the second boss.
Oh yeah.
He seemed like he was untuned. I mean, we walked in there and one-shot him with like a tank and a half, a tank and a quarter. I mean, we had a warrior with a taunt ability, not necessarily a tank, but he still did it. We had healers compensating for all of it, and it was done. I mean, we did it, but it was kind of a joke. I think a lot of that needs to get changed. Yeah, the puppet master. I think that needs to at least triple in health, or double. If not, remove that clutter in the middle of the room. and those benches, quote unquote, remove that.